What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and we just got some new news from Warner Brothers as Zaslav, their new CEO, continues to gut the company. And as of right now, essentially, Cartoon Network Studios has been completely gutted, merged in with Warner Brothers Animation, and nearly 100 people just got their pink slips. And it's an interesting story. I mean, you have this situation where if you haven't been following Cartoon Network over the past couple of months, allow me to remind you. You see Cartoon Network tweeting this out in February of last year. When you see color and the history that comes with it, you can recognize the role racism plays in our culture and appreciate everyone's diversity. Crystal Gem says, be anti-racist. Steven Universe, anti-racist. I mean, like, what?
Black people can't marry white people.
Hey
What?
now,
It's Garnet from Steven Universe.
kids, don't be racist.
Huh? Kids don't talk like this. Of course they don't. And this is just a start. How about this one? Cartoon Network in December. Black inventors, heroes, and leaders often left out of history. Ask yourself as you're learning, who is the focus and why? Crystal Gem says, be anti-racist.
All right, class. Can anyone tell me who invented the light bulb?
Thomas Edison.
That's not entirely true. The light bulb could more rightfully be attributed to Lewis Latimer, the black inventor behind the filament inside the bulb.
No, he invented filament, not the light bulb. But that's it. I mean, like, Cartoon Network PSA teaching anti-racism sparks outrage online. Yet another one. Cartoon Network now swallowed by Warner Brothers Animation after layoffs, October 12th this year. Now, I don't know if it's a combination of parents just sitting their kids down in front of iPads now instead of televisions, or if most animation can just be regurgitated out. I mean, look at the popularity of Coco Melon. The Post, Cartoon Network Studios swallowed by Warner Brothers Animation after layoffs. Warner Brothers Television Group cuts 26% of its workforce on Tuesday, October 11th, as part of its parent company's continued cost-cutting measures. Among the hardest hit division was the animation department, which also will consolidate Warner Brothers Animation and Cartoon Network Studios as part of a strategic realignment. So essentially, Cartoon Network Studios is gone. We are implementing a new streamlined structure in which development and main production teams will now work across Warner Brothers Animation and Cartoon Network Studios, Chairman Channing Dungey wrote in a company-wide memo. Both the development and production teams at WBA, Warner Brothers and Cartoon Network, will be merged, with Hanna-Barbera's Studio Europe operating independently from other studios. As Cartoon Brew points out, the consolidation will likely make an impact on the future of all new IP from the combined divisions. Whereas Cartoon Network Studios has primarily been focused on original series like Steven Universe, Uncle Grandpa, We Bare Bears, Craig of the Creek, and Summer Camp Island, Warner Brothers Animation has mostly revisited old IP series like Harley Quinn, Teen Titans Go, and Looney Tune cartoons. In other words, we can look for more reboots like Powerpuff Girls and Foster Home for Imaginary Friends, both of which original creator Craig McCracken is helming Hanna-Barbera Studios Europe. All told, Warner Brothers laid off 82 employees across its scripted and unscripted and animated divisions today. It will also not fill the 43 vacant positions. There won't be any structural changes to the scripted side, but the company is combining the unscripted creative development and programming across. Deadline reports there will be more layoffs today in the Warner Brothers Discovery streaming marketing division. CEO David Zaslav has been on a cost-cutting spree since Warner Brothers Discovery merger was completed in April, with an announced goal of finding $3 billion in savings. A small sampling of steps he's taken included shutting down CNN Plus, canceling Batgirl, canceling a Batman animated series at HBO Max, and delaying the sequels to both Aquaman and Shazam. It's because, I mean, ultimately, these shows weren't making money. And if you're going to try to make up $3 billion, you're going to have to make some tough decisions. I mean, you have to look at stuff and say, well, this isn't going to make any money. We got to get rid of it. And it's because, I mean, quite frankly, a lot of these articles are written like, oh, David Zaslav, he's an evil man. He just keeps canceling all the things you love. Here's the reality. It wasn't making money, and it's not making money. And to cut $3 billion in hard costs means most of your expenses in a lot of these businesses, although marketing is a big one in entertainment, is going to be salaries, going to be people. You see this just yesterday. Warner Brothers TV layoffs, studio cuts 26% of workforce. Unscripted and animation divisions merge. Warner Brothers Television is cutting more than a quarter of its workforce as part of its parent company's drive to cut costs. Studios cutting 26% of personnel, a total of 125 positions across scripted and unscripted animation. Deadline revealed Monday that the cuts would likely come today, and we've revealed earlier that Warner Brothers TV was shutting down digital production Stage 13 and Warner Brothers Television Workshop, a key plank in finding and mentoring new and diverse talent. It seems like he's like literally just cutting out a lot of the kind of representation stuff, all the little side projects that when you don't have any oversight, you're spending money on to get likes and retweets, but people actually aren't paying it. The television studio is the latest arm of Warner Brothers Discovery, forced to make cuts in order to save at least $3 billion after a merger overseen by David Zaslav. It comes after HBO and HBO Max laid off 14% of its staff, around 70 people in August. The total number of employees losing their jobs is 82, some 19% of the current workforce, while Dungy and her team are also not filling the 43 vacant positions. This means a total of 125 positions were eliminated. Of course, Twitter is very upset about it. There's an entire generation of aspiring artists that went their entire childhood dreaming about working at Cartoon Network, and now they can't. Just devastating. Well, why would you want to? In a world of having YouTube and, I mean, there are animators on YouTube who are getting way more viewership than any Cartoon Network show probably is. I mean, sure, it would have been cool to work on SpongeBob in its heyday or something of that nature, but I mean, just create your own SpongeBob, right? Isn't that what people always say? The people themselves, as the people themselves who got laid off, I do feel terrible for them. I mean, it's not their fault that, you know, many of the projects their company decided to sink a bunch of money to and failed. A lot of the people, I'm sure, that got laid off are not the decision makers. Executives are the ones that usually get a free pass on a lot of this insanity. You see RIP Cartoon Network Studios, 1994 to 2022, RIP Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network turns 30. Zaslav, here's your coffin. 14 years ago today. I mean, Twitter is very, very sad about that. This is Cartoon Brew. Cartoon Network Studios, as you know, it is gone. Thanks to David Zaslav. It's consolidating into a single unit, Warner Brothers Animation. This is huge news. It's also an ominous sign for the future of new original Cartoon Network animation. Yeah, I mean, it is. Like, you have a lot of people in animation, a lot of people who are mad at David Zaslav, but the reality is, you know, maybe you shouldn't have been paying them to write this crap.
Yeah, it makes a difference that I'm white. I know the two of us get treated very differently.
I just think it's messed up to compare me being an alien to you two being different races. You're both human. You're totally biologically the same. Adding purple people.
I mean, this is what Cartoon Network wanted to spend their money on. In a lot of ways, they got woke and they went broke. I hope that the people that got fired who aren't lunatics will find gainful employment or take this opportunity to go create their own thing and not be dependent on other people. But the cuts continue at Warner Brothers, and Cartoon Network is done, basically, as we know it.